श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्म रक्षण इत्युगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूत मलर्गशीलं गोपाल देशिक मुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः व्यासं वशिष्ठ नप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. So we kind of briefly touched upon the Gita as the summary of 18 chapters, making use of Swami Alavandar, also called as Yamunacharya, his Gitartha Sangraham, based on the first slokam, Swadharma Jnana Vairagya Sadhya Bhaktiyeka Gocharaha Narayana Parabrahma Gita Sastre Samiritaha. We enjoyed about that slokam, which gives the entire Gita's essence, the summary, in one slokam. Swami Yamunacharya mentioned in the scripture known as BAGAVAT GITA, Narayana, the supreme Brahman, is declared, and he is attainable only by bhakti yogam, which is to be brought about by observance of the karma yogam, which is doing one's own duties, and which will culminate into the acquisition of jnanam, the knowledge about the jivatma, and then the vairagyam associated with renunciation of attachment, vairagyam. And then we saw that the second, third, fourth slokam of the Gitartha Sangraham gives the summary of first 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters, and the third 6 chapters of the entire Gita. The first 6 chapters talk about Karma Jnana Yogam, the second 6 chapters talk about the Bhakti Yogam, and the third 6 chapters is kind of revision, recapitulating what he had mentioned in the previous 12 chapters. Anyway, we can talk about it later when we do the chapters. Now, we get into the first chapter, which is the first slokam. Swami mentions in the fifth slokam of Gitartha Sangraham, Alavandar mentions a summary of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Asthana sneha karunya dharma adharma diyakulam partham prapanna muddishya shastravasaranam kritam. Asthana sneha karunya. Swami mentions so beautifully that Asthana sneha karunya dharma adharma diyakulam. So, a person should have qualities such as love, compassion, daya for a fellow human being. We should have, which is a must. It's a atma gunam. It's a human qualities. You have desirable qualities. But these feelings should not be arise at the inappropriate time or the wrong time, at an inappropriate moment. In the case of Arjuna, it happened. So that is the first chapter that we are going to talk about. However, Bhagavad Ramanuja, before he starts the entire Gita Bhashyam, he pays his namaskaram to Yamunacharya, and then he starts to describe about the Krishna avataram. Why the avataram? Who is he? What is he? Because he is our Valentine. We are his spouse. He is the Purushottaman, and all the Jivatmas are supposed to be the Stri who are wedded to him, who belong to him, who are going to serve him, who enjoy him, his divine qualities, his divine Saundaryam, his divine Trimeni, Divyamangala Vigraham, his beautiful qualities, his most auspicious Kalyana Gunams. So Ramanuja proceeds to praise Lord Narayana and mentions his qualities with great joy, because when the beloved talks about her or his, divine, his consort, his spouse, she or he gets excitement, joy, happy. And Lord Sri Lakshmi Narayana is a vast ocean, infinite ocean of qualities, auspicious attributes. Ananta Kalyana Gunaganauga Maharnavan is a ocean of auspicious attribute. He is completely devoid of all imperfections. He is completely opposite of imperfections. So he is called Akilaheya Pratyanikan, opposite of defects. He has got no defects, no doshams. In fact, he is opposite of that. And he is defined by 6 qualities. Bhagavan means one who is defined by 6 qualities. Jnanam, Balam, Aishwaryam, Viryam, Shakti, Tejas. Jnanam, knowledge, strength, lordship, valor, power and glory. Tejas. Knowledge means directly perceiving all things at all times, under all circumstances. Everything he can perceive at the same time. About me, about you, about someone in the United States, someone in the Mars, everyone, everything, every time he can perceive simultaneously. Strength means giving support to all things at all times. And lordship means consisting of ruling the entire world, all the universe and Sri Vaikuntham at all times. Valor, Viryam, is unbounded and infinite energy at all times. He never ever gets tired, exhausted, because of he's got so much valor. Power is the capacity to do all things which are impossible for others to do. Look at the way Lord little Krishna lifted the Govardhana mountain for everybody to come under, and he protected them from torrential heavy downpour. Nobody disbelieved him. When he wanted to lift Govardhana, they never thought that he is going to drop the mountain on us and we'll get crushed. No, it's too risky. Nobody thought. They just trusted him. Unflinching, unconditional faith, Mahavishwasam on him. And Tejas means not requiring anything, any auxiliary, anything else, assistance from anyone else or doing anything. He does not need anyone's help. He can do it all on his own. So his divine form, his Trimeni, his Divyamangala Vigraham is brilliant, is majestic and graceful and fragrant, is tender, mridu, as well as beautiful, always youthful. Because whenever we see Lord Rama or Krishna, always eternally youthful. We see Bhishma, we see other Vidura, Vyasa, everybody with the beard, with the narai, with white hair, everything. But not Krishna. Krishna would always be a Madana Gopalan with an enchanting smile which completely steals and robs our hearts. So he is adorned with number of divine ornaments. The divine ornaments get more beauty because of him, not the other way. And he is constantly praised by Nitya Suris like Vishwaksena, Ananta, Garuda in Sri Vaikuntham. So the Lord, out of support, because he is the one who supports the entire universe. He is the one who sustains the entire universe. He is the one completely takes back the entire universe during dissolution. Why does he do? Akila Bhuvana Janmastema Bangadi Leela. It's all Leela, divine sport. Out of divine sport, he creates, he sustains, and he dissolves the world. Whole world, the universe. The whole world is filled with infinite number of Jivatmas and the infinite objects of enjoyment, Bhogyam, which is Achetanam, non-sentient, like the matter. Whatever we have, whether our shariram, the body, or the phone, or the world, or the food, whatever that you see, that you hear, that you touch, that you smell, that you chew is all achetana, matter, bhogyam. And who is the bhokta? The jivatma, one who enjoys. There are infinite jivatma and there is infinite achetana. So there is a conservation of matter and conservation of energy we study. Energy can never be created or destroyed. Matter can never be created or destroyed. It transforms from one to another. Similarly, he takes back everything into him and brings back. He takes back in fine form and brings back in gross form. So Narayana has created the entire universe. He is the supreme Parabrahman. The Sri Vaikuntham, his eternal abode, is untouched. The remaining part is what we are talking about as the Leela Vibhuti, his divine sport universe. So why does he do that? In order to give the Jivatmas a chance to take birth and to give Vivekam, the discriminatory power, for us to get to know that we belong to him, we are part of him, we are his body, his shariram. Means a shariram, the Jivatma, for example, our Atma and our body, I have said many times, our body supports, our body is supported by the Jivatma. The Jivatma is the one which supports our body. The moment my Atma goes off, the body will fall down. The Jivatma is the one which directs, controls the body. It says you go to the fridge, take a Diet Coke and drink. So it takes. The body will not automatically go. If the Atma leaves, it will never go to the fridge, nor will it even get up. And it will start stinking. And the body serves the Jivatma. Similarly, the entire infinite Jivatmas and the infinite, the matter, Achetanam, the non-sentient. The sentient is Jivatma, the non-sentient is the Achetanam, the matter. Both are his Shariram, Paramatma Shariram. Shariram means that which is supported by him, that which is directed and controlled by him, that which serves him. So it's our inherent property, it is our inherent nature to do that, and we don't do. That's why we are bound by karma, punya papa karma. If we do something good that pleases him, we get a punya. If we do something that displeases him, we get into papa. And we have been doing that for eons, for millions of births. And when did the birth start? Anadi, beginningless time. It's a cycle, vicious cycle. How to get out of it? Get to know him. That's why he took pity on us. He took very many avatarams. Avatar means one who descends down. He took several avatarams without giving up his essential nature. When he takes avataram as human being, as Rama or Krishna or Narasimha or Varaha, as a huge boar, he does not become one among us. He does not take the shariram like you and me, made of the 5 elements, with the bone, skeleton, follicles, pus, stink, all that. No. He has got a divine Trimeni, Aprakrita Trimeni, they say. It's a transcendental body. It may look the same like a human. He is not bounded by karma. He chooses his parent. He chooses his form. So he came down as Krishna. So he bestows the Jivatmas when he takes like wealth, like enjoyments or moksham, according to the wish of the each devotee. So he came down to earth as Krishna and made himself visible to all people that time. Although this avataram was on the pretext of removing the burden of the earth, this was really for the purpose of his becoming the object of worship, object of love, object of beautiful adoration for him and Sharanagati, even to unworthy people like us, like me. That's why he did many divine acts which captivates, which enchants the mind of devotees, enchants the mind of all men, like killing the asuras, stealing butter, gave to the world the amritam, full of love. He made Akrura, the Malakara, Akrura, one of the devotees, Malakara, the garland maker, and many others enjoy him, the Gopikas, the Gopas. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita, the song of God, under the pretext of encouraging Arjuna to fight in the battlefield. That's only a vyajam, that's only an excuse, pretext. He wanted to bless us with the Bhagavad Gita, that's all. He was waiting for an opportunity. He could have simply told Arjuna, just get up and fight, drop all this nonsense, just go, fight, you are a Kshatriya. We will enjoy that in the second chapter. But he wanted as an excuse to bless us with the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhakti Yoga, which is developed from Karma Jnana Yogam, is the means for attaining salvation or moksha. This is what I said is a crude, poor translation of the beautiful introduction given by Ramanuja in his wonderful Vyakhyanam, commentary on Gita. And then we enter into the first chapter, which is the most beautiful chapter. So here Asthana Sneha Gita, our Gitartha Sangraham, it says Asthana Sneha Karunya Dharma Adharma Diyakulam. So here in Bhagavad Gita, they all assembled in the Kurukshetra battlefield. I told you already a couple of weeks back that Pandava's side had 7 groups of army, whereas the Duryodhana side had, Kauravas had 11 groups of army. One group consists of thousands or lakhs of soldiers and horses and elephants and chariots. So Kauravas had 11 groups, Pandavas had 7 groups. Who had more? Kauravas. But who had Krishna? Pandavas. So our friend Duryodhana, when the battle started, he said, I think Pandavas are going to win. He said, how did he get that? How did he get that? Because he had a fear. Because he knew that Krishna is with them, he had to mention that. So what our Arjuna said, they started blowing their conch shells, the shank, Mudangada shank. So they wanted to blow the conch shell, each one, to declare that the war is going to start. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayaha Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrigodaraha Ananta Vijayam Raja Kundi Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakula Sahadevacha Sugosha Mani Pushpakav. So each one blew their respective shank, each one. And then Kasyascha Parameshvasaha Shikandicha Maharataha Drishtadyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajitaha Draupadeshyascha Sharvasha Prithivipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahuhu Shankant Admu Pratak Saghosho Dardarashtranam Hridayani Vyadharayat Nabascha Prithivim Chaiva Tumulobhyanu Nadayan. So here Kasyascha Parameshvasaha Shikandicha Maharataha. Here, true to his word, Dharmaputra is determined to fight. And it is to be noted that details such as who blew which conch, which shankam, and the names of the different shankam, how they did blow, are all furnished in this slokam. Pratak, individually they blew. So, the warriors of the Pandava blew their respective conch, shankam, individually, thus announcing their enthusiasm. They are ready to fight. This also goes to show that of the many conch, the shankam, the sound of a single one was enough to terrify the Kauravas. One was enough to terrify. Sa Gosho Dhardarashtranam Hridayani Vyadharayat. Though through the sound of the Shankam, the conch, they blew, it reverberated the entire earth and the sky. It reverberated the whole place, and it completely blasted the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons only. Only they got scared. By stating that it pierced through the hearts of only Duryodhana and his brothers, it is conveyed that the others were not affected. Not only that, it made them happy, others. The sound from Bhagavan's Panchajanyam simply enlightened, gladdens the heart of the devotees and makes those antagonistic to the devotees feel the enmity, the oppression, the shiver in their heart. The devotees are ever pining to hear the sound of the celestial conch blown by Krishna. So it was to terrify them. And Dhardarashtrana, the term is a plural form, means of your sons. Not even one is stout-hearted. Sanjaya narrates everything to Dhritarashtra, who is blind, about the entire happening. So when Sanjaya says, your sons, not even one was spared, everybody got scared, and that's what he mentioned. And then we move on to the 31st slokam, where he says, Arjuna says, please take me to the in between the two armies. I would like to see and assess them. And he says, Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava nacha shreyonu pashyami hatva swajanamahave. I see various bad omens, Krishna. Though I try again and again, I am unable to discern any benefit to be derived by killing, because he sees his grandfather, his acharyan, his cousins, his fellow, the cousins' sons, the grandsons. Whether they win or not, both sides there's going to be casualty. Both sides. It's not going to end. So he got scared, and he is Khandivam Shamsate Hastat Tvakchaiva Paridahyate Nacha Shaknom Yavastatum Brahmadiva Cha Me Manah. He is unable to even hold his bow. Kannan says, if you do not fight, you cannot get victory. He says, I do not desire victory. I don't want victory. Krishna says, if you do not get victory, you cannot maintain the name Vijayan. Your name is Vijayan, always victorious. Arjuna has explained earlier that he is called Vijayan because whichever battle he fought, he would have returned victorious. That's stated in Mahabharata. Arjuna says, I do not care. I do not want for the name of Vijayan. I don't want to fight. Okay, if you do not win, you cannot get the kingdom which you have been fighting for. He simply deprived you of any place. They went and begged for five villages, 5 houses. He says, not even a drop of pin or gundus in nelam kuda kudukamata. Duryodhana said. He said, I do not want kingdom. Arjuna said, without kingdom you will not have enjoyment. So I don't care. I don't want enjoyment. Not at the cost of my cousins, my grandfather, my acharya, my cousin's sons, my own sons, my grandsons. Some may die. So without enjoyment, how can you live? I do not want to live. He says, if you say so, will the others agree? Your brothers. There is no difference of opinion between me and my brothers in this regard. Arjuna, though you utter these words, indeed you have no desire for kingdom in your heart of hearts. Arjuna says, you are capable of even residing in my mind and decipher my innermost feeling. Can I ever have a thought without your knowing it, Krishna? He knew. He says, Yesha amarte kangshitam no rajyam bhogo sukhanicha in 33rd slokam. And he says, the very persons for whose sake we desired kingdom, the pleasures, the luxuries, are all arrayed on the battlefield, sacrificing their life, their wealth, their kith and kin, their spouses, teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, other relations are all assembled in front of me. So he became simply deluded. So here he mentions, you can spare the kinsmen who have come here to fight you. He says, you can spare and you kill only the sons of Dhritarashtra. It can be said. But they too are our relations. You can say that Dhritarashtra's sons alone are going to get killed. But they are also my cousins. While grieving over their death at my hand, what happiness will I derive? Furthermore, by killing these felons, atatayis. So here, who is a atatayin? There is a term here, means who is an atatayin. The above saying defines an atatayin, means as one who sets fire to the house of another. One who sets fire to the house of another to finish him, to kill him, or one who administers poison to another, or one who is always armed and ready to kill, or one who robs the wealth, or one who robs the land of other, or one who robs the wife of another person. They are all called atatayin. Is it a crime to kill them? It is said clearly, the one who has committed any of the aforesaid crimes, felonies, whoever he may be, ought to be killed immediately with no consideration. Whether he is a Brahmin or a scholar, a teenager or a father, whoever it is, one does not commit any papam. When such is the death, when such is the Manusmriti talks about, how can Arjuna, who surely knows all this, stay away and argue that by killing those criminals, only papam will accrue by killing them. So he was simply getting deluded. And it's not that Arjuna was a bad man. He was because he was a good man, he had these doubts, he had these problems. And even when you are good, when you want to do good, because this is the fight between the good and the evil, even in our mind. So how does this battle between Kauravas and Pandavas apply to us in our day-to-day life? Even in our mind, we are at the crossroads whether to do good things or bad things, whether to do that or this, and we get carried away by not having integrity, by not knowing what is dharmam or what is adharmam. And here Arjuna had compassion. Arjuna had dharmam adharmam, but he was not knowing which is dharma and which is adharma. That's why he wanted Krishna to console him, and Krishna took the right opportunity to console him. And of course Arjuna, his kandivam, his divine bow, simply fell off his hand. Arjuna was always with his divine bow, and it fell off automatically without his knowledge. His knees weakened, he simply fell down, he could not even stand. So when that was the circumstance, and which we are going to see next week in the second chapter, how he appeals to Krishna to help him. However, we will just conclude with the beautiful anecdote about the glory of this chapter. The greatness of the Gita is dealt with at length in Padmottara Kanta. So, Padmottara Puranam, it talks about to Lord Shiva, Parvati asked, I desire to learn the greatness of Gita. If indeed you are gracious towards me, please instruct me on the Gita, knowing which one's devotion to Narayana will multiply manifold, many times. Shiva said, with steadfast devotion, I always meditate on Lord Vishnu, who is of dark, blue, blackish, divine, Tejasvi complexion, who has Garuda as his vehicle, who is reclining always on Adishesha as his bed, who never forsakes, who never lets down anyone, who seeks Sharanagati at his lotus feet. Once Goddess Lakshmi, who can bestow every kind of happiness in the world to anyone who prays to her, looked at her divine consort Mahavishnu, Sriman Narayana, relaxed in the beautiful seat and raised a question. Hey Lord Narayana, having created the diverse worlds, you appear to be completely indifferent about their protection. What could be the reason for that? He said, Devi, nowadays I do not have any responsibility for protection of the world. Hence I have no worries and I am in bliss. All this time you had the burden of responsibility always for the protection of Lord, of the world. How come now you do not have? Inquired Mahalakshmi. So he says, in my incarnation in my avataram as Krishna, I taught the Gita Shastram, which is the essence of the Upanishad. I took Arjuna as an excuse to bless the world with the divine Gita Shastra. Under the pretext of instructing him, it was proclaimed for the welfare of the entire universe. And the great devotee Vedavyasa rendered a great service in the humanity by simply incorporating those Gita teachings into the Mahabharata. The Gita Shastram is now protecting the humanity. It is of limitless glory. I will tell you about it. He said, the Gita comprises 18 chapters, and he says, the glory of the first chapter. He says, even a person who recites Gita or listens to it with love, with involvement, even if it is for one chapter, even half of it, even one verse or half of the verse or a quarter of a verse, he will get liberated from the shackles of samsara. Effortlessly, as in the case of Susharma, said Bhagavan. Lakshmi asked, who is Susharma? From where was he? How did he attain liberation? Please tell me in detail the glory of the first chapter. Bhagavan said, long ago there was a Brahmin called Susharma in the northern part of our Bharat. Though born a Brahmin, he was not performing the Trikala Sandhya Vandanam, which most of us do not also. So he was engaged in Mahapapam, sinful acts like imbibing, taking toddy, sarake, chasing the women, eating meat, tilling the land with own hands. He was spoiling the entire world, the community in the process. One day his time was up. The Lord took him to the Yama took him to his world. After undergoing many kind of suffering, he was born as a bull, as an ox. A lame person taught the ox, and he taught various tricks to the ox so that he can learn from that tricks made by the ox. Taking it to different places, he made it perform various tricks and thereby earned his living. One day, the bull tripped and fell down while doing his tricks. It got seriously hurt and it was suffering greatly, and it was about to die because of the hurt. Many persons who happened to see the ox took pity on it, gifted a part of their punyam to the ox so that it will get recovered, but no avail. It could not. At that time, one prostitute lady, she passed by. Seeing the suffering bull, she was deeply moved. She shed tears on the suffering ox. She said, "Oh Lord, there is no possibility that I have ever done any dharmic act, any meritorious act, because she was doing a prostitution. I am only a great sinner. Nevertheless, if at all I have done any little minutest deed, dharmic deed, virtuous deed, please let that be given to this ox. the ox died at once, immediately. It reached Yama, and Yama looked at the person who had died as an ox and said, due to the meager dharma merit gifted to you by that lady, you are completely removed of all your papams. Hence, you will not be going to the hell now. Removed, all erased. You will be born on the earth again as a Brahmin, and this time behave yourself. At least now do Trikala Sandhya Vandana, and will retain the memories of your previous lives as well. Accordingly, he was born in this world, a Brahmin. Unlike the previous time, he was doing all the regular Sandhya Vandanam, and then he studied Vedas, cultivated good qualities, completely devoid of bad habits. He was liked by everyone. He remembered his past life. He wanted to find that lady who helped him give his little deed, merit, the dharma which he had earned. With great difficulty he found her and said, Madam, I am the one you had saved the other day. I am that ox, the bull you had saved. Thanks to the merit you gifted me, today I saved myself from going to hell, and I have behaved myself as a Brahmin. I will never forget your help. But what was the meritorious act that you did in spite of your duties as in prostitution? Please educate me. Pointing to a caged parrot, she had a caged parrot, a kili. She said, this parrot keeps repeating some sloka every day, and I listen to it, that's all. The Brahmin asked the parrot. The parrot said, Oh Brahmin, I too was a Brahmin like you. I learnt all the Shastras and studied the Vedas. I started giving discourses on the Puranas and earned a lot of popularity, wide acclaim. So I became greedy, proud, and started asking for a lot of sambhavana. Give me this. If you only give me that much money, I will come and deliver. So I rated myself highly, asked for a lot of money. I began to demand hefty sums and fees for my discourse. I did many such sinful deeds I should not have asked for. Consequently, I am born as a parrot. Thanks to some trace of merit I earned in my past life, I grew up in the hermitage of a rishi. The parrot grew up in the hermitage of a rishi. And that inmates, the disciples of the rishi, used to recite daily the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita with great bhakti and involvement. And listening to that repeatedly every day, I could simply memorize it. I too joined them in the recitation. And there, the rishis and disciples left that place. They gave away that parrot to someone, and who sold that parrot to this lady. So the hunter stole that, and then the hunter sold it to this lady. So even after coming here, I cannot stop reciting that. And this woman listens to it with interest, with involvement. So she earned merit, which is what was passed on to you. So saying, the parrot recited the first chapter beautifully. Here Lord Sriman Narayana said, therefore, whoever reads the first chapter methodically, or listens to it, or recites it again and again, will cross over the impossible ocean of samsara. And Lord Shiva narrates this, Hey Parvati, I have imparted to you the glory of the first chapter of Gita, as explained to Lakshmi by Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. Let us also methodically recite it, read it, listen to it, and win the grace of Sriman Lakshmi Narayana. So, even if one talks or is given a bhagyam or opportunity to talk, one should never ever feel proud or arrogant just because he or she is given an opportunity. One should feel grateful and feel humbled in spite of so many people like you all who are knowledgeable, scholarly. Still, I am given an opportunity to talk, and hence I consider myself blessed to repeat these things and only reproduce from what is given by acharyas and scholars in books. Dhanyosmi. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.